Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, QuantumScape Corporation just filed a current report on Form 8K, and it details the results of their annual meeting. But there is something interesting buried in the voting numbers. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. The company's stockholders have voted on key matters, and while the outcomes seem routine, the sheer number of broken non-votes on executive compensation is a notable signal. Alright, let us dive into this filing from QuantumScape Corporation. This is a current report filed on Form 8K, which means it is for significant events that shareholders should know about right away. The main event here is the company holding its 2026 annual meeting of stockholders on the 3rd of June 2026. So at this meeting, a lot of the company's Class A and Class B common stock was represented either in person or by proxy. The filing tells us that over 76% of the company's total voting power was present. That is a pretty solid turnout, and it means the meeting was valid and they could officially vote on things. Remember, Class A shares get 1 vote each, while Class B shares are powerful. With 10 votes per S share, the company states that both classes voted together on all the proposals. Let us look at what exactly was voted on during this meeting. There were 3 main proposals. First, the stockholders were asked to elect new directors to the board. Second, they needed to officially approve or ratify the appointment of their independent accounting firm, Ernst & Young LLP, for the upcoming fiscal year. And third, in a non-binding advisory vote, shareholders cast their opinion on the compensation of the company's top executives, often called say on pay. Now, let us get into the voting results for these proposals, especially the election of directors. 10 directors were up for election. Looking at the numbers, all 10 nominees received a very high number of votes for, well over 500 million for most of them. For example, Brad Buss got 565 million votes in favor. This shows general support for the candidates put forward by the company. However, what really catches the eye are the broken non-votes. These are shares held by a broker on behalf of a client, where the broker did not receive instructions from the client on how to vote. In this specific filing for the election of directors, there is a massive and consistent number of broken non-votes across all director nominees. Each director received 156,901,206 broken non-votes. This means a huge chunk of shares, over 156 million, were not directly instructed by their beneficial owners. When this number is this consistently high across the board for directors, it signals a potential lack of active engagement from a significant portion of the shareholder base on director appointments, or perhaps a reliance on broker recommendations which can vary. Moving on to Proposal 2, the ratification of Ernst & Young LLP as the independent auditor. This one also passed overwhelmingly. We see 720 million votes in favour, compared to just over 4 million votes against. Abstentions were around 1.9 million. This signifies strong confidence in the company's chosen auditors. It is pretty standard for these kinds of proposals to pass with a large majority. Now for Proposal 3, the advisory vote on executive compensation. This is where things get a bit more interesting, especially when you look at the broken non-votes again. The proposal to approve executive pay received 559 million votes for. That sounds good on the surface. But then we see 8.6 million votes against and close to 2.2 million abstentions. And critically, there were another 156.9 million broken non-votes. This means that even though the majority voted to approve, a significant number of shareholders either opposed the pay or their shares, like with the director vote, did not have a specific instruction. The sheer volume of broken non-votes impacting both director elections and executive compensation is a recurring theme here. While a majority voted in favour of most things, the large number of broken non-votes suggests that a considerable portion of the company's shares are not being actively directed by their beneficial owners on these crucial corporate governance matters. It is worth noting that QuantumScape's stock has seen volatility recently, with news from the 5th of June suggesting a significant price drop after hours due to insider selling filings. This context, combined with the voting patterns, paints a picture of potential shareholder apathy or perhaps divergence in views on how the company is being managed and compensated atop. For QuantumScape, a company focused on battery technology, such a high number of undirected shares, especially on executive pay, could signal a disconnect. While the board and auditors are approved, the persistent large block of broken non-votes on executive compensation might indicate underlying concerns about pay structures compared to performance that are not being fully expressed through direct votes. When we look at companies that have seen significant shareholder disengagement or mixed signals on governance, it can sometimes precede or accompany periods of stock underperformance. For example, in 2021, Kodak had a 1 for 20 reverse stock split, and while not directly comparable, it highlighted underlying issues. Holders later saw roughly a 40% additional drawdown over the following 90 days. While this vote doesn't directly reflect a direct financial loss in this meeting, the pattern of uninstructed shares can be a precursor to broader shareholder discontent if not addressed or if performance doesn't improve. In essence, while QuantumScape's annual meeting saw most proposals pass, the elephant in the room is the massive number of broken non-votes. Particularly concerning executive compensation, it is what I am actually looking for to see if this translates into future stock performance. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit like, subscribe for more, and join our Discord.